Meanwhile, the consensus among pundits is that the summit between President Lee Jae Myung and his U.S. counterpart Donald Trump was a success. In fact, one scholar here believes the summit may serve to advance regional diplomacy. Our foreign affairs correspondent Oh Sooyoung has more.
President Lee Jae Myung's report with U.S. leader Donald Trump underscores his pragmatic diplomacy, potentially easing strains in Seoul's trade and regional affairs. According to Professor Lee Wang Hwi, who leads the Ajou Unification Institute, Korea has passed its first major diplomatic test as Lee and Trump, in their first summit this week, established a warm relationship. While the results lack clarity on sensitive trade areas, the summit provided reassurance for Korean firms.
With no joint press conference by Presidents Lee and Trump, there's been curiosity about the outcome. But the July agreement will stand with no changes confirmed. That means much of the uncertainty that had worried businesses has now been eased.
With the two leaders both ready to work together on sectors like shipbuilding and energy, their summit also deepened strategic cooperation, pushing bilateral ties towards a future-oriented comprehensive alliance. Lee's stopover in Tokyo before Washington also set the mood for closer trilateral cooperation in the Indo-Pacific. While some feared this could sharpen tensions with Beijing and Pyongyang, the expert noted the Lee-Trump summit provided Seoul with clout to pursue regional peace and stability. On North Korea, Trump responded positively to Lee's call for renewed dialogue with Pyongyang, with a potential meeting during this year's gathering of Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation members in South Korea's Gyeongju. An early meeting could fast-track progress to diffuse tensions on the peninsula.
President Trump once mentioned building a Trump Tower or resort during talks with Kim Jong-un. If U.S.-North Korea ties progress, constructing a Trump Tower in the north could have major symbolic value. Unlike other projects, it would take less time and could deliver results within Trump's current term.
And then there's China. Amid the intensifying US-China rivalry and unease in Beijing over Seoul and Washington further strengthening their alliance, Trump went so far as to suggest he and Lee visit Beijing together. That reinforced Lee's message that South Korea must not be forced to choose between the US and China, but instead manage both relationships with stability. Seoul's role as a regional mediator is critical. President Lee has invited both Presidents Trump and Xi Jinping to the APEC leaders meeting.
This APEC may center on U.S.-China, U.S.-North Korea, and Korea-China summits. Korea-U.S. relations must go well for Korea-China ties to improve. I believe APEC will prove Korea, U.S. and Korea-China relations are complementary.
Having passed the first test of pragmatic diplomacy, the challenge ahead is whether the Lee administration can turn the momentum into practical progress for regional peace and stability ahead of APEC in October. Oh Sooyoung, Arirang News.